could be at the World Gymnastics Championships, which started today at London's O2 Arena.
He's taken gymnastics in Britain to a new level. These days, all the kids want to be the next Lewis Smith, but it hasn't happened overnight. When Lucky's first caught up with him in 2004, he was off to the Junior Commonwealth Games, but stressing about schoolwork.
I can't fit all my homework in, and eventually my teachers are beginning to understand that now. So I just do my work at school and then I try and fit my homework in when I can.
So from a boy soprano to a baritone, Lewis came of age in Beijing last year, winning the bronze medal on the pommel horse. It was Britain's first individual medal at the Olympic Games for 100 years. A trip to the shops in Peterborough would never be the same again.
Everyone kind of seems to know who I am, and the kids, love coming up to me and talking to me and asking me questions about the Olympics, and it's nice to give back, to the community. When I was young, I didn't really have a kind of role model to look up to, in the sport, so it's nice to be able to talk to kids and stuff.
With several of Lewis's big rivals not at the World Championships this week, the gold in the pommel is up for grabs. Teammate Dan Keatings has his eyes on a prize as well, although he'll also be one to watch in the all-round competition.
Well, fingers crossed a medal, but I'm hoping to go there, do the best that I can, maybe make a final in the all-round and a final in the pommel horse.
Lewis and Dan are both qualifying at the O2 Arena today. Cambridge's Marissa King begins tomorrow. Britain's squad is as strong as ever, thanks greatly to the Huntingdon Club, and you can watch them in action in London on the BBC this week. Jonathan Park, BBC Look East.
There are just 3 weeks left to get your nomination for this year's BBC Unsung Sporting Hero in. We're looking for that special person who works behind the scenes to make sure others can enjoy their sport.
This year, the England women's cricket captain Charlotte Edwards is the ambassador for our region.
You know who they are. They're the first to arrive, they're the last to leave. They wash the kit and they make the teas. They're the real roots of grassroots sport. They are the unsung heroes.
In the spring, you're cutting it up to 3 times a week.
Michael Judd from Stony Stratford Football Club was last year's unsung sporting hero for the East. As we begin the search for this year's winner, I've been to meet the man who holds the club together.
I just enjoy football, and I would have done it whether I'd been an unsung hero or not. So I just enjoy doing football and always have and always will do. I do all the grass cutting, all the repairing of everything and the management of the clubhouse.
And the winner is Michael Judd.
Michael was named Unsung Hero at our Sports Awards at Duxford, and he went on to represent the East at the BBC Sports Personality of the Year Awards. How was it to win?
Well, it was a bit of a shock because I didn't really expect to win. So, yes, I appreciated that a lot.
If you know someone like Michael, a true unsung sporting hero, nominate them now. Go to our website, bbc.co.uk/lookeast.
Very good. Now, this week we're celebrating 50 years of regional television in the East. Anglia Television and the BBC in the East both went on air in October 1959.
We've marked the passing of many little bits of history in the last half-century. Today, John Cranston remembers a lost landmark that helped to inspire a children's classic.
In the early years of BBC East, we ran a lot of transport stories, though most of them, sadly, were farewells. In Ipswich, the region's last trolleybus, and in the Fens, the last train to run between Wisbech and Upwell. But a rather unusual train it was.
It was the last roadside steam tramway in Britain. It ran beside the road on one side, on the water on the other side. It followed the route of the Wisbech Canal, and it was just a unique part of the Fenland landscape.
A railway line which, for over 80 years, has been an intimate part of life here. The Wisbech and Upwell railway line opened first in 1883 for passengers and goods.
But it wasn't the brief attentions of Fife Robertson that afforded this line immortality. Just down the road in Emneth Vicarage lived a clergyman who used to have a huge train set up there in the attic and used to tell his son stories about steam engines. He was the Reverend Wilbert Audrey, creator of Thomas the Tank Engine. This is him the day they borrowed the vicarage hosepipe to top up one of the tram engines. Does it look familiar?
Toby chuffed carefully along his branch line.
The fact is, the real-life Tobys would have had trouble making their sometimes hair-raising road crossings in today's traffic, and the line is no more.
We have one or two reminders, like this piece of rail-built fence and the fact that the old Outwell Village depot is now called the Tramway. All the line disappeared when it closed in 1966. One or two little cottages, but apart from that, everything has gone.
But thanks to Mr. Audrey, we'll always remember the engine he christened Toby. John Cranston, BBC Look East.
Well, nice to see Fife Robertson as well.
Great tale, that. What's the weather got in store for us?
Well, a pretty, familiar picture for many days to come. But first of all, these pictures today taken at Marlingford Mill, just outside Norwich. I have to say, Norfolk and Suffolk were the cloudiest counties in our region today. West was generally best for sunshine, and if I show you the latest satellite picture, you can see we've still got some breaks in the south and west. The further sort of east and northeast you are, the more likely you are you've got quite cloudy skies over the top of you already, and that cloud will tend to increase overnight, more of it feeding in from the north, and I think for most of us it will be dry, but having said that, the further east you are, the more likely you are to see a little bit of light rain and drizzle, especially towards morning. Now, temperatures tonight, well, perhaps a 6 Celsius under any clear skies in the extreme west, but most of us around 7 or 8 degrees Celsius and hardly any wind at all. So tomorrow, this is actually an area of high pressure over Scandinavia. It's still influencing our weather and will do over the next few days. So tomorrow, again, the further east you are, the more likely you are to see a little bit of patchy light rain and drizzle. The further west, the more likely you are to see the cloud breaking a little bit. But even in the west, I think we'll have quite a lot of cloud around. And temperatures, well, a near normal 14 or 15 Celsius for most of us. 15 is 59 degrees Fahrenheit, with the winds settling to the south or southeast, generally light in strength, perhaps moderate at times, though, on the Norfolk and Suffolk coast. And then with that high pressure in charge, it's a very familiar picture with kind of subtle differences from day to day. Thursday, largely dry with some decent sunny spells. Friday, largely dry with a few isolated showers in the east. Saturday, largely dry but rather cloudy. And Sunday, largely dry with some further spells of sunshine. And by the weekend, some slightly chillier nights. See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Jules.
And largely dry.
Largely dry, all round, basically largely dry, if in doubt. That's all from us. Goodbye.
Raise your glasses, please, to Al Murray, the pub landlord, on The One Show, next on BBC One.